The 15th most common misconception regarding Islam amongst the non-Muslim is that why in Islam 2 women witnesses is equal to 1 witness of man. Isn't this injustice? Why are 2 women witness equal to 1 witness of man? Let me tell you at the outset that in all the cases 2 women witness is not equal to 1 witness of man. There are no less than 8 verses in the Quran which talk about witness but doesn't specify whether it's male or female. There is one incident in which the Quran does mention that 2 women witness is equal to 1. It's in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 282, which is the longest verse of the Quran. And Allah says, "Oh, you believe, when you involve yourself in any transaction which involves future obligation, put it down in writing and take amongst yourselves 2 just men as witnesses. And if you cannot find 2 men, take 1 man and 2 women, so that if one makes a mistake, the second will remind her." So this is the longest verse of the Quran and is talking about financial transaction. So only in financial transaction Allah says in the Quran, when you involve yourself in a transaction involving future obligation, take for yourself 2 men as witness. If you can't find 2 men, 1 man and 2 women. And many people translate tazil as if she forgets. The real translation is not forget, errs, makes a mistake. So if one makes a mistake, the second will remind her. Because in Islam, the man is supposed to be the bread earner. In Islam, it's the duty of the man to take care of the lodging, boarding, all financial aspect of the woman. So he's supposed to be financially more well versed. There may be some women who may be financial wizard, but those are exception to the case. Generally, still man, it is a financial burden. He is financially more aware. So that's the reason, since he is an expert, Allah says, get 2 men as witness for financial transaction. If you can't find 2, then 1 man and 2 women. You cannot say, I can have 4 women as witnesses, and if 2 women is equal to 1 man, then 4 women is sufficient. No, you cannot. Either 2 men, or 1 man and 2 women. Let me give you an example. If you want to undergo a major surgery, correct? If you want to undergo a major surgery, the best is you take advice from 2 qualified surgeons. Major surgery. 2 qualified surgeons, better. If you can't find 2 qualified surgeons, 1 surgeon and 2 MBBS doctors. That's qualified. Correct? If you can't find, best is 2 qualified surgeons. If you want to undergo a surgery of your colonotomy or some gastrectomy, what do you do? 2 qualified surgeons. Better. Can't find 2, 1 qualified surgeon and 2 MBBS doctors. Best is 2. Similarly here, because the men are more qualified, in witnesses for financial transaction, best is 2 men. If you can't get 2 men, 1 man and 2 women. So in Islam, only in financial transactions are 2 women equal to 1. There are some fuqahas, some jurists who said, even in cases of witness for murder, because when they say murder, the woman may not be able to take it. So even in cases of murder, 2 women witness equal to 1. Otherwise, in all the other cases, 1 man and 1 woman is equal. As I mentioned, there are no less than 8 places in the Quran where Quran talks about witness without specifying male or female. For example, Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 106, 107, that, oh, you believe, when that approaches you, you take 2 just witnesses before you bequeath to write the inheritance amongst yourself. If you are traveling, can be two just witnesses from others. Here it doesn't specify male or female. Quran says in Surah Talaq, chapter number 65, verse number 2, that when you give divorce, take two just witnesses. It doesn't specify men or women. Allah says in Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 4, that when anyone lays the allegation against the chastity of a woman, if you cannot get 4 witnesses, each one will be flogged 80 lashes. Here in witnesses, it doesn't specify whether it's male or female. Similarly, if you read in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse number 6, Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse number 15, in Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 8, in Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 13, all these places talk about witnesses without specifying male or female. One verse of the Quran specifically mentions one male witness equal to one female witness. Allah says in Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 6, if a spouse, if anyone lays a charge against the spouse, if you cannot get any evidence, your solitary evidence is sufficient. That means, if a man lays a charge against his wife, and if he cannot get any witnesses, his solitary witness is sufficient. Similarly, if a woman lays a charge against the husband, and you cannot get any witness, her witness alone is sufficient. This proves one witness of man is equal to one witness of woman. So it's a misconception that always 2 women witness equal to 1. No, in certain cases only, mainly in financial transaction, and some fuqaha says even in murder cases. In terms of sighting of moon, in the beginning of Ramadan, 1 witness is required. In the ending of Ramadan, for the Eid al-Fitr, 2 witnesses required. It doesn't make a difference whether it's a man or a woman. So in Islam, generally, 1 man's witness is equal to 1 woman's witness, except in certain cases, like financial transaction or murder, 1 man is equal to 2 women.